Hello, everyone, and once again, welcome to Presenting Canada to the World. And today, the focus is going to be more on the real estate. And this is one of the series of the Fast Lane episode where we teach people how to make money in Canada, specifically on the real estate side. And quite recently, I've been receiving quite a bit of emails and phone calls, and people are asking me, is it the best time to buy a real estate in Canada? And the answer has always been, there is never a good time to really buy real estate anywhere in the world. Everything hinges on timing and your preparation. And what I mean by that is, even if you look back in the 80s, there was quite a bit of high interest rate in the Canadian real estate segment. Fast forward 2022, we are facing the same dilemma. Right now, interest rate is skyrocketing and people are overstretching themselves. So there are 5 major banks in Canada. You have your RBC, your TD Bank, your BMO, Scotiabank, and CIBC. So these are the major lenders in the Canadian financial institutions. And often or not, one individual will go through this bank to be able to qualify for mortgage. When it comes to mortgage segment, there are 2 types. You have your fixed rate mortgage and also you have your variable rate mortgage. So the difference between these two is that with the fixed rate, for example, you can get a 5-year mortgage where it's fixed at a specific rate. For example, 4% rate or 3% rate. That means that for the duration of the 4 or 5 years, this is the amount you're gonna be paying every single month. Another segment that I would like to explain even further down the road is the variable rate. And the variable rate kind of gives you an option to offset some of these high interest rates. So for example, if a fixed rate is about 4 or 5%, likely you're gonna get a variable rate maybe around 3 or even 2 point something percent. So the advantage is that usually with the variable rate, you are saving a lot of money in the long term, but it's also dictated by the market. So for example, if there is any interest rate hike by the Canadian government, then definitely your payment might increase or might not increase depending on which bank that you are with. With the fixed rate though, you can actually rest assured and sleep because you know that it's a guaranteed contract between you and the bank, and you are ensuring to pay that same rate for that 5 years. So now getting back to my topic about buying a house in Canada. And as I've mentioned before, there's never the right time. It all depends on your preparation. So for example, the way the housing market works in Canada is very cyclical. And what I mean by cyclical means that take 2020, 2021, for example, when we had the lowest interest rate in historical record. Some banks were offering as low as 0.99 interest rates. At that specific time though, if you look at the real estate markets, the prices of the houses were very skyrocketing and was very high because there was a low interest rate and everybody wanted to buy. Fast forward now, the interest rate has gone to a place where people are paying as much as 5, 6, 7% depending on which bank and which product you're getting. Now also you can see the prices of the houses are dipping. Currently in Canada, the prices have dropped about 12% since the beginning of the year. At the peak of the market, which is February 2022, the prices were so high, but right now the price have dropped about 10 to 12% in Canada worldwide. So this is also an advantage for a lot of people that were sitting on the sideline. So for example, if you have money that you have really waiting to really get into this real estate market, I think this will be a good time to actually take a peek at what is in the market and what you qualify for. My only caution with individuals is that when you buy a real estate, you have to do your due diligence. And what I mean by your due diligence is that make sure you do a lot of research, talk to the experts, and lastly, location, meaning that we all saw the boom in 2020, 2021 when there was a lot of houses outskirts where they were selling for very higher price. But now when the prices started dropping, you can see that specifically some neighborhood like Oshawa, Whitby, Stouffville, and those areas, the prices have dropped as much as 30%. So depending on where you are, but if you live in the places like Mississauga, Brampton, Burlington, in those areas, you see the prices tends to hold. So definitely make sure you do your research and make sure which location that you're buying for. Once you have done your research, another major component that you should factor in is always the financial piece. There's a pre-qualifying application where you can do with all of these banks that I've mentioned before. So what you do is that you can go on your website, look at the tools that is there, crunch in the numbers. If you want to buy $600,000 or $500,000 house, crunch in the numbers and see what mortgage rate is suitable for you. My advice is that always try to be a little bit more on the upside. So if you're looking for a house that might cost you about $500, $600, make sure that whatever you do the mortgage rate, if the mortgage rate is 4% the bank is giving you, make sure it's about 5%. And the reason why is that it gives you a bit of a buffer in terms of if anything goes wrong, you'll be financially ready. So right now, I think me personally, if you have the money and you'll be sitting on the sideline for so long, I think this will be a good time to actually take a look at certain communities, certain neighborhoods, and where you really want to be. And then based on that, work with a professional. And when I say a professional, it's somebody who knows what they're doing and some agent that are really qualified to really assist you from the whole beginning to the very end product. Because there are some agents out there, all they care about is the sales and the volumes, and once they actually finish that transaction, there is no relationship. And you have some other agent that will build a lifelong relationship, not just with you, but even with your family members. So basically, a couple of things I would like to highlight. If you have some money sitting there on the sideline, I think it's still a good time to buy. Make sure you do your due diligence to make sure you go on the banking website, do the mortgage sort of pre-screening, or you can actually see a mortgage agent at the bank themselves and they'll walk you through this process, so at least you know how much you can afford. So once that is done, then find a very, very qualified agent that will be able to assist you from point A to point B. So I think in a nutshell, I won't be speaking too much on this video, but as subsequent videos, I'll be giving you more details in certain neighborhoods and certain areas where you can buy a real estate. But for now, I think the market has been really, really stable since the peak time in February. Even though the prices are dropping, but the mortgage rate has gone up. In some neighborhood, the prices have not really adjusted well. So if you have the money that you're sitting on the sideline, I think this might be a good time to look at it on the real estate market. Specifically, not only Ontario that the real estate exists in Canada, there's other places, and I'll be giving you more episodes about different areas where you can invest in Canada. But for now, this is mainly focused on Ontario and where you can buy in different areas. So I would like to end the video here, but thank you for your time. And if you have any questions, I'm always available. Shoot me an email or Instagram or Facebook, and then we can definitely connect. In the last notes, there is never a better time to buy a real estate in Canada. It's all about timing. So if you're financially stable, all the numbers works, and all the plans fit, then definitely I will encourage you to do your research, find the right agent, and then definitely go ahead and purchase your property. Thank you. It's your boy KB presenting Canada to the world, and I would like to end here.